One thing is for certain, the corona crisis is starting to wind down. It looks like some states are going to slow roll turning their economic engines back on, but eventually they'll be back on. And other states are going full bore back to the way things used to be. But I've talked about this before. The economy that emerges from this crisis will be different than the economy that we had when we entered into it. People's purchasing habits will change. Their consumption habits, how they move about their cities and states and countries will change. Your habits will certainly have changed. But if you're determined to become wealthy, one thing must stay the same: your commitment to following the order of operations of wealth creation. We'll talk about that in this video, so be sure to drop a like and subscribe to help spread the word. And with that, let's dive in. Like I've said before, the economy is in shambles. It's a shell of its former self, and some people are saying it is in the worst shape it has been since the Great Depression. I know we've been hearing that a lot since 2008, but this time it's really true. The unemployment rate is beginning to eclipse 15%, and that would certainly seem to suggest that, along with the cratering of the GDP for the US at about minus 4.8%, that indeed is the case. But those numbers aren't good, and it might get worse before it gets better. Right now, there's a standoff in various state governments about when they're gonna reopen up and when they're gonna allow their businesses to thrive. Some states are saying they will not return to their normal until there's a vaccine for the corona scourge. Well, that's gonna leave a lot of people without a means to take care of themselves, aside from the government handouts that they're gonna be getting. Don't be one of them. Despite what people say, it is possible to go from nothing to something within your lifetime. Even during crises such as these, to go from not having 2 nickels to rub together to being a billionaire who has an enormous enterprise at their command is not a feat that is easy to accomplish. But it can be accomplished, and it has happened before. And it will happen again. It has happened in countries of all types, with various political systems, levels of freedom, etc. It's all about looking around and seeing the opportunities around you and turning those opportunities into reality. And it can be really simple. Now, I know I just said that it wasn't easy to do, and it isn't easy to do. I said it's simple. A lot of people confuse simple and easy. They're mostly synonymous, but there is a distinction. When I say it isn't simple, I'm saying it isn't rocket science. And frankly, this is going to be a little bit controversial. Anybody can do what it takes to become wealthy. The problem is, although the way to become wealthy is simple, it's not easy. That is, doing what it takes to become wealthy is actually really, really hard. But the good news is that it isn't impossible. What do I mean, and what am I blabbering about? Basically, I'm talking about the simple but not easy steps you need to create wealth if you start from nothing. So this isn't for you if you inherited money or if you won the lottery. No, you, my friend, have a separate set of steps to maintain and even gain more wealth. This isn't even for you if you have a good job and are stacking away cash. You'd be wise to listen, but again, you're already in a good place, and more than likely you can get to a better place with some solid action on your part. So essentially, that's a topic for a different video. This is how to become wealthy starting from zero. Where do you even get started? Well, first things first, you have to get a skill. Believe it or not, no humans are born with skills. We're all born with essentially no skills except eating and belching. So every person that you have seen that you consider skilled acquired those skills somehow. Even people that seem that they're really particularly skilled at a certain set of tasks, they acquire them somehow. There are many ways to acquire a skill. One way that we are mostly familiar with is through formal education. In other words, you start off in kindergarten not knowing how to read, write, or do arithmetic. But if you live in the right school district, after 12 years of matriculating through the system, you should be able to do all of those things. Each of those things, while simple, are important skills. Learning how to do them well will enable you to get other skills. The more skills that you have, the more you get paid. Real talk here, flipping burgers won't pay the bills. But you knew that already. It's an alright job to hold if you got nothing else to do and you just need extra cash for clothes and maybe a cell phone. But you are looking to pay your bills long term and to increase your income gradually and consistently until you become wealthy. If that's the case, then flipping burgers certainly won't do. You need skills that are in demand. How do you find in-demand skills? Well, you have to educate yourself. Again, there are multiple ways of doing that. You could look at people who are successful, then ask yourself, what did they do when they were first starting out? You could do Google and Bing searches for high-paying jobs or businesses, but you need to make sure that what you're looking at is aligned with your interests. If you don't love what you do every day, then every day that you work, whether it's for someone else or for your own business, will just be another day you wish you were doing something else. If you find 2 high-paying skills, one that pays more but you hate, and one that pays less but you love to do, then pick the one that pays less. If you love what you do, you'll tend to do more of it. If you do more of it, you will distinguish yourself from the people who don't love it as much but are only doing it for the paycheck. And when you distinguish yourself, you become the top dog at that field. More on that in a moment. Once you found out what the skill is that aligns with your interests and aptitudes, then pursue learning it and applying it. This is where your typical college education comes in. But that is not the only way to master a skill. You can teach yourself a skill or use any other number of tools to gain the knowledge for those skills. Sites like Udemy, Skillshare, and others are great ways for picking up knowledge on a wide range of topics. But the most effective tutor is action. Start taking action on the skill that you want to master. Start learning all the nuances and the kinks. How, you ask? Via gig sites like Fiverr and Upwork. Why will that work? Because if you're watching this channel, you're probably a native English speaker. If you can speak English natively, then you're going to stand out a lot on those sites. And you're probably gonna get a ton of work or a ton of opportunity to prove yourself. Now, you're not gonna make a lot of money initially, but that's okay. What you're after is the experience. You're trying to figure out the nuances of the particular field that you're in, and you're trying to figure out what your customers want, and you're trying to sharpen your skills. And once those skills are sharp, you can begin to command a large amount of money to execute them, either by parlaying them into a business of your own, or by being hired by someone else that will take those skills and offer you a handsome salary or equity in a company, or both. That takes us to the next step in the order of operations of wealth creation. Become the best at that skill. Once you get those skills, then become the best at what you do. Becoming the best at what you do has two different benefits. When you become very good at what you do, and assuming that you love it, then it is almost like you're being paid to have fun. Wouldn't you just love to be paid to goof off and watch Netflix and browse the internet? Actually, you can do that. Stay tuned for a video coming on that in the near future. Like and subscribe. But if you get really good at what you do, that is the next best thing. In addition to that, being good at what you do means that you are likely going to be compensated really well. Remember when I talked about doing a search for top paying jobs? Well, typically those lists show the average salary of somebody in that position, not the top salary or even the bottom. Now, you don't want to be the person barely scraping by at the bottom percentile of the salary range. That person is either really new to that industry, not very good at what they do, or they don't really love what they do and are merely collecting a paycheck and just scraping by. Don't be that person. Be the best at what you do. Spend extra time honing your craft and your skill, learning the latest, greatest techniques and tips, following others in your chosen field, and learning what they are doing to improve their skills. But once you have that mindset and then you're executing that, you should be saving an emergency fund. Times like these illustrate now more than ever the need for an emergency fund. Bailouts can't last forever. Even unemployment insurance will run out eventually. And the government can't continue to bail out everybody at the clip that it's doing right now. When all the bailouts dry up, will you have any money in your pockets or a new job? If not, what's your next move? That is why it's important that when you have the opportunity, save up a healthy portion of your income. Now, the exact number isn't really important. A lot of people say 3 months. Some people say 6 months. 3 months to 6 months is the standard investment guru advice. An ambitious goal would be 1 to 2 years of your salary. Both of those are great goals to strive for. And certainly you will appreciate having the peace of mind that you have some cash saved up for emergencies such as these. But once you're in that mode, you have to invest the rest for success. You see, a lot of people get stuck on the savings part. Saving is really a good thing. Seriously. Saving is great for when you have a large purchase you need to make, like let's say a reasonable used automobile or a down payment on a piece of real estate, for things such as your first home or an investment property that you're going to use to generate income for yourself. But just parking your money in a bank is probably one of the worst possible things you can do if you're looking to become wealthy and you're starting from nothing. I also have a video on that coming out in the near future. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click the notification bell because we're dropping great value weekly. But back on topic, savings and checking accounts from banks typically pay you less than the rate of inflation for access to your money. And that means when your money sits there and piles up, it is actually becoming worth less. Not necessarily worthless, but not worth as much as it once was. That is why you need to focus in on investments. There are many types of investments and they don't all involve the stock market. The stock market is the easiest and most proven way to build wealth if you start from nothing. But understandably, people are kind of squeamish about it right now. If that's you, you could invest in private businesses like, let's say, franchises such as McDonald's and Starbucks and things like that. Also, real estate. We talked about investment properties a little bit earlier, but that is a popular one here on the YouTube. Now, be careful in this economy, by the way. I may have a video coming out on that in the near future. Stay tuned. But you could also invest in startups, websites, and even side hustles. The possibilities are really endless. And so is the stream of content coming from this channel. Don't miss out on a second of the action by subscribing and clicking the notification bell as we drop videos every week, and you're not going to want to miss them. And be sure to like this video if you haven't done so already, and drop us a comment down below for your thoughts on how to become wealthy now that the corona crisis is starting to wear down. One last thing. Recall that a goal without a plan is a wish. A goal with a plan and no action is a wish list. Take action on your business and finances using the power of technology, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.